If you earn more, you would build more wealth. That is the assumption driving most financial frustration. It is the quiet belief underneath every conversation about raises, promotions, side hustles, and second income streams. Earn more, and the wealth problem solves itself. Every financial motivation platform reinforces it. Every income growth core sells it. Every success story shared online features a salary increase as the turning point. The moment things finally started moving in the right direction, and the logic feels airtight. More income means more money available. More money available means more to save and invest. More saved and invested means more wealth. The equation seems linear, obvious, and indisputable. Except it is not what the data shows. Study after study examining household wealth accumulation across income brackets produces a finding that most people never encounter, because it is deeply inconvenient for every platform profiting from the earn more narrative. Income explains far less of the wealth gap than almost anyone wants to admit. Something else explains almost everything. And that something else is what this video is about. If this is the kind of content you are interested in, subscribe. We cover it every week. But nobody ever asks the obvious question. If income were the primary driver of wealth accumulation, if earning more reliably produced building more, then why do surveys consistently show that a significant percentage of six-figure earners live paycheck to paycheck? Why do lottery winners, professional athletes, and high-earning entertainers so frequently arrive at bankruptcy within a decade of their peak income years? Why does the correlation between income and net worth, when examined rigorously across large population samples, turn out to be far weaker than intuition suggests? Not because income doesn't matter. It matters. But there's a hidden variable that predicts wealth accumulation more reliably than income at almost every bracket studied. Nobody asks about it directly because it is not sellable. It does not have a course attached to it. It does not generate aspirational content. It does not photograph well against the backdrop of financial freedom. It is behavioral, specific, measurable, and almost completely absent from every mainstream conversation about why people do or do not build wealth. Here is the actual data. A landmark study by researchers Thomas Stanley and William Danko, documented across 2 decades of wealth research, found that the majority of genuine millionaires in America did not build wealth through exceptional income. They built it through an exceptionally high savings rate maintained consistently across ordinary income levels. The correlation between income and net worth in their sample was surprisingly weak. The correlation between savings rate and net worth was overwhelming. More recent Federal Reserve data reinforces this finding. Households earning $75,000 annually with a 20% savings rate consistently accumulate more investable wealth over a 20-year period than households earning $150,000 with 5% savings rate. Double the income, half the wealth. Because the variable that actually compounds is not what you earn. It is what you keep, systematically, automatically, without exception. Here is the number that reframes everything. Increasing your savings rate by 10 percentage points produces more long-term wealth impact than a 30% income increase when modeled across a standard 25-year accumulation window. You were solving the wrong variable the entire time. So why does everyone keep selling the income solution when savings rate is the actual lever? Because savings rate cannot be monetized. Nobody builds a platform around helping you keep more of what you already earn. There is no aspirational lifestyle content attached to a 20% savings rate. There is no thumbnail showing what financial discipline looks like at 34, because it looks like a modest apartment, a used car, and a brokerage account nobody at the dinner table knows exists. Income growth has a story, a number, a trajectory, a before and after that fits perfectly into a 3-minute video. It has courses, coaching programs, masterclasses, and affiliate deals built entirely around the premise that your earnings are the problem and the right mentor can fix them. Savings rate has none of that. It is invisible, unglamorous, and completely inaccessible to anyone trying to profit from your financial journey. There is also something deeper running underneath this. Telling someone to earn more validates their frustration and flatters their potential. Telling someone their spending behavior is a primary obstacle requires a conversation most platforms are not financially incentivized to have. The myth persists because the truth does not pay as well. Here is what actually drives wealth accumulation and why it operates completely independently of income level. The real mechanism is the gap, not your income. The gap between your income and your spending, measured as a percentage, maintained consistently, and deployed automatically into compounding assets before lifestyle has any opportunity to claim it. That gap is savings rate. And savings rate is entirely behavioral. A household earning $60,000 and saving 25% deploys $15,000 annually into compounding assets. A household earning $120,000 and saving 8% deploys $9,600. The lower income household is building wealth faster, not because of luck, not because of superior investment selection, but because the gap is wider and the behavior is more consistent. Here is why this reframe matters beyond the math. Savings rate is something you control completely. Starting today, without a promotion, without a side hustle, without a single external variable cooperating. Income requires negotiation, opportunity, timing, and circumstances outside your control. Savings rate requires one decision, made once, automated immediately, that compounds forward regardless of everything else happening in your financial life. Here's the pattern that repeats across income levels with remarkable consistency. Someone decides to get serious about building wealth. They audit their budget, identify the problem areas, and commit to saving more. They set a savings target, realistic, achievable, genuinely intentional. And then they wait. They wait for the next raise to make the target comfortable. They wait until the car is paid off. They wait until after the holiday season, the wedding, the move, the moment when life settles into a version of itself that makes disciplined saving feel less like a sacrifice and more like a natural next step. That moment never arrives, because lifestyle does not wait. Lifestyle expands continuously and quietly into whatever financial space the waiting creates. The most common wealth-building mistake is not overspending. It is postponing the savings rate decision until conditions feel right, when conditions never feel right, and every month of postponement is a month of compounding permanently lost. Here's the version of this mistake that costs the most. Every $500 monthly contribution, delayed by 12 months, costs approximately $40,000 in foregone compounding wealth over a 30-year window. Not $6,000. Not the amount saved during that year. $40,000. Extracted silently from your future by a decision that felt like patience, but was actually the most expensive choice on the list. Here is the exact sequence. Actionable today. No income increase required. Step 1. Calculate your current savings rate. Divide what you saved and invested last month by your total take-home income. That percentage is your baseline. Most people who complete this calculation for the first time discover their actual savings rate is between 3% and 7%, significantly lower than their self-estimate. Step 2, raise it by 3% immediately, not eventually. Today, log into your employer benefits portal or brokerage account and increase your automated contribution by 3% of your take-home pay. Research consistently shows 3% is below the lifestyle disruption threshold, meaning most people absorb it within 60 days without meaningful impact on daily spending. Step 3. Implement savings rate escalation. Every 6 months, increase the rate by an additional 2%. Automate the escalation date in your calendar today. This single habit moves most people from a 5% savings rate to a 15% savings rate within 3 years, without a single income increase required. The fix was never about earning more. It was always about automating the gap before lifestyle absorbed it. Here is the honest timeline. Unglamorous, accurate, and worth every word. Moving from a 5% savings rate to a 20% savings rate through the escalation sequence described in this video takes approximately 2 to 3 years for most households. Not dramatic, not immediate. 2 to 3 years of incremental, automated adjustments that individually feel almost imperceptible. At a sustained 20% savings rate on a $65,000 income, the 10-year projected portfolio value, using historical average market returns, sits between $180,000 and $210,000. Without a single promotion, without a side hustle, without any income variable changing at all. That is not retirement. That is financial optionality. The specific, measurable point where money stops being a daily source of pressure and starts being a source of genuine leverage over how you live and work. You were not behind because your income was insufficient. You were behind because the variable that actually builds wealth was never the one anyone told you to focus on. That variable is yours to control. Starting today. Starting with one automated increase that takes 4 minutes and compounds for 30 years. If this reframed the problem entirely, subscribe, because this is exactly the conversation we have every single week.